Johnston, and I'm going to talk about the Riseball, how to throw the Riseball today. I'm going to start with one of the spin tight trainers, or you can use ball on a stick. And the first thing is grip. Get your basic 4-seam grip. I have the U. I'm placing my U from my hand on top of the U on the ball. I'm getting on the edge of the seam right here. And then you hear right there, and you hear where it flicks. That is your pressure point for your Riseball. And you can also do a 2-seam. Your finger and your middle finger work opposite from your thumb, which creates that backspin. And the idea with the Riseball is you want to get underneath it. So when you're releasing the ball, when you go through your arm circle, you want to come down pinky leading and then cut underneath the ball. And that is going to give you backspin, and that backspin gives it a little bit more hang time. Everything that goes up must come down. So we know that there's no such thing as a true Riseball, but it drops less. So with that said, here are some of my favorite tips and some of my favorite tools, products that I use to help teach the Riseball. This, you can see I got it from riseball.com, and it comes in 2 different sizes, 2 different weights, and I'm not really sure why, but if somebody knows why they come in 2 different weights, feel free to put it down in the comments. They're very easy to grip because you can see how it has ridges for the fingers, and when you throw your Riseball, it's easy to see the color split. Green on one side, pink on the other, so you know that you did it right, and you can see the axis very well. And to me, it's easier to throw the heavier one than the lighter one, but they're both amazing tools because, again, it gives you a different visual to see if you're doing it right or wrong. Another awesome tool, and I know that I talked about this with the curveball, is selfballexcellence.com. And again, it's just a different way of giving your pitcher a different look to the Riseball. And when you release it, you'll see that the flat side stays to your right if you're right-handed, left if you're left-handed. And so it just gives that good visual. And you can do your wrist snaps with it. If you feel comfortable, you can go into T-drill and see if you can keep the flat side over to the right if you're right-handed, and then progress into a circle, seeing if you can still keep flat side over to the right side if you're right-handed. This one is definitely one of my favorite. You see, it is the Spin Jammer. And the Spin Jammer looks like a Frisbee, but it has a handle on the inside, making it really easy to spin. The same as the Power Pod, the flat side will be on your right, of course on your left as well on this one. And it's the same progression. Toss it to yourself if you get it right. Go to T-drill. If you get that right, add a circle and see if you can keep your spin the whole time. I believe Bill Hillhouse, he made this popular, the double ball. It gives the pitcher, again, another great visual of if they are doing the spin correct or not. And with that, it will look like this. Just a basic football. You can get it in any toy store or Walmart. What I like to do is I like to teach in the Riseball that your thumb is the cutter. So when you grab onto the football, you see how my thumb is on the white? And then I come down and release, and I'll get this beautiful end over end spin to see that I am doing it correct. And I know some people teach that you don't use your thumb on the Riseball, so when you throw up a Riseball, you want to get your fingers just underneath it, and you don't really use your thumb as a cutter, in which case it will be a spiral. I like to use my thumb. I think it's very, very strong, so why not use it? It's definitely stronger than your pointer finger and your middle finger, and your thumb is going opposite from those two, so that's why I like to use it, but again, personal preference. Oversized ball. So once you get the grip, once you have the spin, now move on to let's strengthen it. And there's no better way to strengthen that spin than this 8-ounce oversized ball. So it's slightly heavy, but it's not too heavy that I would say be scared to go into a circle with that. But you're okay with this one. And see if you can throw it and get the backspin. I have a 16-inch right here. I do have a 14-inch, which I don't have on me right now, but I would definitely progress from the 12-inch ball to the 14-inch to the 16, because this one is very difficult. I also have weighted ball, so you can always throw your spins with a weighted ball. Of course, it's going to help you increase speed on your fastball, but when you're throwing your spins with it, it's awesome to help you increase your spin rate. A bat weight. I love the bat weight. This one's really heavy. So again, you want to make sure that you're doing a progression with it. So start kind of light, maybe a 12 or 16, and then start progressing up. When you're throwing your Riseball, you want to make a straight up and down line with the spinner, and you want to make sure it's sharp and not wobbly. The more wobbly it is, the less sharp the spin is, less movement, less efficiency. So you want to make sure that it's really sharp. Be careful throwing these to a catcher because it's not real fun to catch these. Toss it to yourself first, and then maybe a few feet away, give it a slight push forward. I also love the idea of using undersized balls. Undersized, I have this one right here, which again, you can get on softballexcellence.com. But if you don't have these, you can also just grab a tennis ball or a baseball. Okay, and the idea behind the undersized ball is you throw your Riseball with it and it forces you to put it in your fingertips, which takes it away from your palm and allows you to get more spin. You can separate your finger movement and your thumb from your wrist snap. Then we create spin. So that's the magic of it. You want that ball far away from your hand so that you can create more spin. A good tip for this pitch is to get a low start by dropping your right hip if you're right-handed. That low start, high finish, you're more likely to get the batters to swing at the pitch. Due to gravitational pull, there's actually no such thing as a perfect spin up and down. It can come out of your hand that way, and the tighter the spin and the faster you're throwing, the longer it will hang that way. But as the ball goes across the air, it will start to tilt because of gravitational pull. You have that first level Riseball where your batter is a little too aggressive, so you're going to throw to about where the batter's chin to forehead is at. So that would be your hyper aggressive level. Level 2 is probably thrown more often, and it's right here around the shoulders to the heart area. And size up your batter because you may have a 5-foot batter or you may have a 6-foot batter, so the levels are going to change according to the batter's height. Your low level Riseball is a little dangerous if you're new to it. So I would always start hyper aggressive when you're learning. And then as you get better and better, bring the pitch down. And your low level Riseball would be down around the belly button, hips area. The Riseball's always thrown in a slightly upward trajectory because, well, there's really no such thing as a Riseball. It's an illusion. That jump is just the pitch dropping less. So when the batter is anticipating that they are going to swing here and then the ball comes up just over because it drops less, that's basically the idea behind the Riseball. Drop your right hip. When you drop your right hip when you're throwing your Riseball, you're angling your hips and shoulders to go with the path of the pitch, and we get a lower start. And of course, the direction that our hips and shoulders are, so if it's neutral, we're throwing fastball right here. Okay, so our fastest pitch is going out parallel to the ground. If it's drop ball, we're angling our shoulders to the path of the pitch. There's our drop ball. And then of course, Riseball, we're dropping our right hip. Boom, hips and shoulders are always going with the path of the pitch because then we are at our strongest. Perfect. Fastball. I wanted to add one more thing about a rise ball. I've never met anyone throw a rise ball at the ground and then have it rise back up into the zone. But we know that we need an extremely fast pitch. Speed is part of the anti-gravity. It's not just the spin rate. There's a lot of factors involved, such as elements that we can't even control, weather, humidity, and as much rotation as possible, hopefully 20 revs per second, 1200 per minute or more, and we need to throw it as fast as possible. We also know that the faster we throw it, the later it breaks, so we have to complement all that speed with a whole lot of spin. Usually we're pretty lucky and they go hand in hand, but sometimes I see pitchers increasing in speed and not increasing in their spin rate, and we have to go back up close and start working harder on the spin rate.